Hey guys, welcome to the finishing of our login program. In the previous tutorial, we successfully made our program to log a user in. But we need to make some things fancy, like we need to make our error and success fancy. Like the login successful, we need to make it fancy. And also we want to include properties like cookies and section. So whenever our user wants to log in again, the section on cookies should be able to log the user automatically. So let's get started. Firstly, the thing we should do today is I'm going to be creating a function called purify. What the function does is that it's escape all these HTML special characters, and so instead of we having to write them like this, we can actually create a function that does that automatically. So let's go ahead and start writing the function. So I'll start by using the keyword function and call it purify. So the purify will take an argument. Okay, let's call the argument a var, standing for variable. So what we just want to test is that we want to say our var equals, I have included the connection to my database inside my head. So in order for me to access my head in my function, I have to declare it as a global variable, global connect. So I'm inheriting this connection from my head. So I can now say var equals my SQLI real escape string. So my SQLI real escape string gets two arguments: the connection to the database and then the variable we're working with. So we want to escape any special character that the user has included. So we want to sanitize it, so we say var. Then the next thing we'll do a couple of this. The next thing we want to do is we want to remove any special HTML tag, HTML special characters. It's just one argument. So the next thing is I think there are still more to it. I think we have strict slashes. They all do the same thing, but I don't see the point writing it. So let's just return our variable. So let's go and replace any variable we've written the manual HTML special character. So instead of this, we can just say purify function. Then for this, I'm going to be removing the MD5 for now. I'm going to be telling you the reason later. So the next thing we have to do is to also, instead of this if statement that tests for the emptiness of the variable, we can also create a function just to make our work look neat and well organized. We can call the function, check empty. Yeah, check empty. So this should take two arguments. The first one, the variable we're testing with, we can also call it var. The second one is the message we want to print out. The message should let's just give it msg. So we can say if empty. What is empty? Variable. If it is empty, what should happen? If the variable is empty, I want to echo, I want to say my error equals msg, equals the message, and then I want to return the error. The next thing we have to do is, what if there is no error? So let's just return false. So let's go substitute the same thing inside. Okay, let's substitute it here. We're going to be removing this else. Am I omitting? Okay. We can then call the function. What do we call the function in? I think we called it check empty. We can now say check empty. We can use a ternary operator if it equals false, that is if it is not empty. Okay, we want to return true. Else we want our variable, our array error to append the message equals the same thing. So for this we are going to be substituting it for user, and for the message we are going to be writing the message. For user we say user name is or can not be left blank. So we do the same thing for the password. So for the password we'd say user password, then we use our ternary operator also, true. We can substitute this true to like a success. That if we are keeping track of success, we can say success then equals, then we can give it a dump message. But for this tutorial I'm going to be using true because I don't want to make use of it. I just want to keep record of the errors. So I can say error. Why don't I just copy this? I can say error equals that, then password. Okay, we've been able to solve that. So the next thing we have to do is let's okay, so let's check. We want this to happen. We want it to check from the database if we don't have any error. So we can say if empty error. If error is empty, you can then do this. Else we want to print out the error. So instead of just printing out the error just like that, we can use, I've done a CSS for this. I named the CSS for error msg, err msg. So let's just do that. Div with a class equals, I gave it error msg. So I can now say the error. I can just print our Abby. Okay, let me just leave it like this. Okay, then let me close it. So in between, since the error is an array, I can just use for each. For each error as what? Errors. So I want to say I want to say echo, then I can wrap them inside a list. Echo, okay, So we can see errors. Then we can close the list. So let's test it. Let's just test it for the error. Let's leave it blank and submit. So we have username can be left blank. Password is also blank. For each error as errors, let me check. Let me pause the video for a while and fix it. We forgot to purify the user password, and also we didn't give any ternary operation here. Equals false. We didn't test any operation here. That was why the password error wasn't showing. And also we didn't specify the user pass for the user pass. So let's check it out now. So we have username can be left blank, password can't be left blank. Okay, so the next thing to do is we need to now include the cookie. Since we've been able to validate the user to this stage, if there is no error, so we need to now MD5 our password. So we see user pass equals MD5 user pass. So from here we'll now check if cookies is set. If you set cookie host underscore, we named it cookie. If cookie is set, that is if the user click on this before logging in, it would say set cookie. If you do not know how to use cookie, you can check my other tutorial. I have explained how to use cookie. So what cookie does is that it takes a name, like okay, we want to save a cookie for a username. What's the value? We want to give it the value of our user. So what time do we want the cookie to be active? We need to use the time function. The current time plus 60 seconds make 1 minute, 60 minutes make an hour. So if you say 60 times 60, we get 36,000, then multiplied by 24, since an hour is 60 minutes. Okay, let's just do the calculation. You can just say calculator. Oh my goodness. So this is just the math behind it. 60 times 60, we have 36,000. 36,000 stand as an hour, so times 24, since 24 is a day. So we want our cookies to be active throughout a day. So that's 86400. So we can then say we want it to be active 86400. Then we add a backslash. They want the same thing for the password. Just change password and then user pass. So if we want the user to be redirected back to the home page. So before then we need a custom message. We need to echo div with a class of So the message should be what kind of message should I use? Let's just say login. Login successful. Redirecting our home page. Or login successful, please wait. Redirecting to our home page. So let's close the div. So the next thing is we want to write a header that would redirect us after a particular seconds. So we'd say refresh after 5 seconds and take us to this URL. So let's copy out the URL for our home page. And paste it there. So we want to be able to check if the user already have cookies. That is, the if cookies is already set already. So we want to give it an else. I want to check if cookies is set already. If it sets cookie. If it sets cookie, we use our global function cookie to access cookie. Cookie user name. If you set cookie username, let's copy this, and password. If you set cookie username and password, what do we want? So we want to set our section. We want to say section username equals cookie equals our cookie username. So we want to set the same thing for the password. Then we also want to redirect so let's check what if the user doesn't check the checkbox for remember me. We also want the user to be redirected. Globally, we can now check if cookies is set. Okay, let me give you the why. So let's check it out. Let's log in. Lydia, Lady, and single 1 2 3 1 2 1. Let's log in normally. So login successful, redirecting to our home page. After 5 seconds, it takes us there. So let's log in again. Let's log out. Let's log in with the same username password, but this time let's check the remember. Login successful, redirecting to our home page. So we are now here at the home page. I don't think our cookies is set. So let's check if our cookies is set. Under storage, our cookies is not set. What happened? our cookies is not set. So let's check where we screwed up. We checked if it sets cookies. So let's go back, logging in, our username, our password. No. Our username, our password, then remember, login successful. So we've automatically saved our cookie username and password. So if we should check the value for the password 779, if we should check our database, it tallies with it. So we automatically set our cookies for our user and our username for the user. So the next thing we would want to do is to set the section username and password. So we can check that by coming up here to see if it's set. If it sets cookie username and password. We want to set our section username to be the cookie username. We want to do this, so let's just copy and paste. So that's all. So the other thing we can do is that we can go back to the the include file, our navigation. We can then say come to the list of items. We can then say we only want our login to appear when we have not logged in. So we can say we can include our PHP file here. I think I've written somewhere. We can say okay, PHP if it sets this time around we are taking our cookie and our section username and password. If these two are set, we want this code to run. We want our logout to display. Else we want the login to display. So let's test it. So let me delete the cookie. Okay, we have our login. Our logout is normal displaying, so let's try logging in.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, under this we need to set cookies here too. We need to take this and set. That is in case, what if the user didn't check the remember me? Doesn't mean the logout should not show. We can also set it like that. So see, instead of just this, we can just say, instead of section username equals the user, and section password equals the password, the user password. I think our program should work very fine now. So let's log in on another browser. Wow. Okay, let's just clear the cookie. Log out. So lady with the password. Let's log in. So it's now working fine. So we can log in, we can log out, we can move to the sign up, then we can log out. When we log out, set the cookie, and then when we log in again, so it's working very fine now. I hope this video has been informative. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things, even when we got into the stage whereby I had to fix things. Do not forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend.